Thank you for watching. I'm sick as a dog, so I will sound like I'm a bit clogged up, which I actually am. But I promised my friend Vasco that I would do my unboxing as well this weekend. So that's why I'm appearing on camera anyway. My eye is a bit swollen shut. I'm not sure what I contracted. All I know is it's not good and I feel like absolute shit. Most likely I will sneeze as well during this video. I'm not even going to edit that out. Before me you see the CEN Reeper. This car is pretty highly anticipated. I've been waiting for it for a couple of weeks. Seen some spy shots of it appear a couple of months ago. The size of it is nothing but impressive. It's a massive truck. I will show you the box first. The box is really more of a sleeve. So inside this cover I found really just a regular brown cardboard box. But the artwork on it is really cool. So I will make sure that you see some close-ups of this sleeve, because that's really what it is. But I mean, I can't really call it an unsleeving. And I did make sure to get everything out of the box or the sleeve before I started this video, just because it was really a headache to not completely rip this shit apart, trying to get to what was inside. I'm not sure if I should start off with the truck. I don't think that I should, so I'm going to sort of put this to the side a tiny bit, just to show you what else you get in the box. Oh my god, I feel so terrible. There's some body clips. I already pulled those out. Inside, of course, you find a manual. Let's have a look at this. I haven't done that yet. I've just returned from a brief trip to the United States, and I think the airplane airco has really messed me up on the way back. On the way back I was able to sleep across 3 seats, so that was pretty awesome. Now inside seems to be a pretty clear manual, so really good 3D drawings explaining how you need to pull everything apart in case you want to do that. Everything looks really clear. What I haven't shown you yet is that underneath it's a pretty basic truck, but we will get to that later. Yeah, so all of this looks good, very clear illustrations, shows you where all the screws go, and in case you do need some spare parts, really easy with all the parts numbers to go and order those online. So, job well done over there. I've never had a CEN truck, this is my very first one. So far I must say, really impressed with the way it looks. This is a bag of spares. Now, mind you, you don't get this amount of spares when you actually buy the truck. They wanted to sort of keep me up and running. It actually took over 2 weeks for the truck to arrive at my doorstep. So I'm thinking just to avoid me, in case that I do break something, to avoid me being without a truck that I'm able to run for a couple of weeks. They just included this big old bag of plastics. This is way more than I'm ever going to need, most likely. I'm also not sure if this whole steering assembly, if that's something that would come with the truck as standard, but it's pretty cool that it's included. It will make sure that I can keep it running. Then there's this second bag. I need a blade for this one. Let's slice this open real quick. Now there's bubble wrap. I'm a sucker for bubble wrap. I'm not sure what's inside it. Let's find out. I'm thinking these are some tools. Oh, indeed, this looks like a wheel wrench. This thing actually has some 23mm wheel hexes, so this is the same size as, for example, Losi 5T, the new Losi monster truck, the HPI Baja. So finding wheels and tires should not be an issue. So this is something that you can just put together. Really simple, kind of like a cross type of a wrench. So this slides into this, and then it's really simple to get your wheels off. Another thing that you find in here, another thing that you find in here is this leaflet, which shows you how to control the ESC. So it's pretty cool that that's included as well. So in case I do want to set it up a tiny bit differently, I will have a look at this and reprogram it. And then there's some sort of warranty thing. Most of it is in Chinese, so I never read these. And then there is for the Mod 3S radio system. That's the unit that you see over here. I haven't had a close look at it yet. there's also some sort of a setup sheet with your endpoint adjustments and all those things. So that was all of the boring stuff. Oh yeah, and you get some XT90 connectors, which I will not be using. These seem to be becoming sort of like the industry standard. I've seen these in a lot of places. Not too keen on them. I always like to use the 6.5mm castle connectors. They never fail me, and they're on all my batteries, so I will also put those on this CEN truck. Let's see, this is the radio. How the hell does this come out? There's a picture of the radio. It's a bit of a blurry picture that's going on the front of it. It looks somewhat reminiscent of the, hold on, let me get one. Somewhat reminiscent in color scheme to these tactic radios that you will get with your axial trucks. But let's find out if that is actually the case once we see it in person. So this folds open like that. There we go. Well, this is not a horrible looking radio. So you have all your trimming shit going on in the top, throttle reverse, steering reverse, endpoint adjustments then apparently from that leaflet. Yeah, all of your trim, third channel button, and the only thing that I really do not like, on-off switch here in the front. It's a very boxy, bit bulky radio. I'm not sure of how many batteries it actually runs. Oh, only 4 by the looks of it, with the option of having 2 extra, so I'm not sure, but that's about, I don't know if I need to run this thing off 4 AA batteries or off 6. The only thing that I would have loved to see included in this radio is a foam wheel, just like they do, for example, on these tactic radios. Just makes it a tiny bit more comfortable to actually steer it and to actually handle it. Size-wise, it's pretty good. I got big hands. You know what they say about guys with big hands. It feels okay. Pretty well balanced, but that's also a bit of a concern, because if it feels well balanced right now, then most likely it doesn't the minute I pop some batteries in there. But you know, I'm never a huge fan of ready to run radios anyway, so I guess it's just okay. It's not anything more or less than what you would expect of ready to run truck. Let me put this blade away before I stab myself to death. And onto the truck itself. Now you can tell that the suspension is a bit odd, to say the very least. Thinking I got some really thin shock oil going on in here, along with very hard springs. I'm not sure how this is going to handle. I can of course take the shocks apart before I start running it, but I think I will at first run it as it is, just see what direction they wanted to, they intended to go with setting it up the way that they did. Let's look at the outside first. Really, well, very profiled tires, so very thick, very aggressive profile, kind of like a tractor, mud bogging type of profile. So these are all directional. I do like the rims a whole lot. They're like a dark chrome type of pimp truck rim. So those tires are pretty low profile. They feel okay to me. Rubber compound seems to be okay. The foam seems to be quite alright, and well, again, that dark chrome really sets it off and I think makes it look a bit more of a luxury truck. Now the body is kind of like a Ford, yeah, like a Ford F-150 inspired type of body. You will really see that once you look at the front. So it has those exact headlights going on, but the front of the truck is a tiny bit sharper than it will be on a real Ford, and then the top of it is a bit boxier, but I think overall they really nailed giving it a cool shape and setting it apart from the competition. Size wise, this is really X-Maxx size, and that's also how CEN wants to market it. They want to market this thing as an X-Maxx killer. Now, I'm not sure about that, despite me having some serious doubts about the X-Maxx when I got it. I did like the suspension setup on it. I hated the wheels and tires. They also completely blew up on me and they cracked and the tires disintegrated. The truck is massively underpowered, but I have flown that thing off some hills that you would not believe, and I put it through some abuse that's almost comical. So apart from the power plant and the wheels and tires, I really don't have a lot to nag about with that truck. All I managed to break in all of the days that I've been running it is an A-arm toasted the body completely. Yeah, that's about it. My biggest complaint with the X-Maxx was the self-righting button that you would find on top of the radio. So there's like a red button sits on top of the radio, for which they've gotten an award. God knows why, because I mean that thing will completely rape your drivetrain. So if you see any people bitching about how they're blowing up diffs in their Traxxas Xmaxx, it's because they've been lazy and they've been pressing that stupid fucking button that's on top. The minute you stay away from that button, you can really rape that truck for all it's worth. You can fly it off cliffs, you can make crazy jumps with it. Nothing's going to happen to it, especially not with that weak standard ESC and motor. Anyway, let's take this body off the truck. The body feels a tiny bit flimsy. Well, again, you know, we're comparing it to the X-Maxx over here, especially over the sides. Now, this side is significantly thinner than this side, for example, and I think you can also sort of hear already that it's yeah, it's really thin. That's of course also because they pull it, they vacuum pull these bodies. So at some point you have like an undercut going on. So whatever thickness you have going on over here sort of disappears down the sides. The body on the X-Maxx, for example, is a lot thicker than this one. Now, that could be because the chassis is also a whole lot lighter than the X-Maxx chassis. This is really, I would almost call it a minimalist setup. I'm not sure if I would place it as a competitor to the X-Maxx. Size-wise, of course, that is true. But in terms of how it is set up, I would almost say that it's more of a Savage competitor. So you can see that it has these twin vertical plates going on. And then attached to that front and rear diffs, A-arms and all that stuff. Pretty similar to what you would find on an HPI Savage. Now, these uprights, these twin vertical plates, they look good. They've been anodized in well, what I would call a gun metallic type of color. Looks very classy, and I like what they did over there. I'm not sure how this is going to hold up with some hard landings, but then again, there's not a whole lot of weight hanging from it, so I can't really imagine that it's going to buckle on me or whatnot. ESC and motor, this thing is a 6S capable. The newest X-Maxxes, they're 8S capable, but that was also much needed just because it was such a heavy truck. Waterproof ESC, I can imagine a water resistant motor, and you will find these XT90 connectors already soldered in place. So I'm going to take these off, put some different connectors on there. Plastic shock towers, which is a bit of a surprise, especially looking at these standoffs. They're quite long. So the standoffs on which they actually have attached the shocks, they come from the center pretty far, I'd say. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a concern or not, if this is going to flex and twist upon landing. But then again, a bit of flex could be a good thing, actually. What I've been reading about CEN is that they really do their homework when it comes to differentials. This feels pretty damn smooth. Same goes for the center diff. I have been having a look at this, playing around with it a tiny bit just to see how it feels. So I don't have any complaints over there. The drive shafts, they're enormous. So you have 8mm drive shafts coming from the differentials going to the wheels, and then there's a 6mm drive shaft coming from the center diff, sort of like sending all that power to the front and the back. So I cannot really see anything wrong over there. This looks like a very stout setup. I have seen people complain about the servo a tiny bit. This is only a 12 kilogram servo, which is a bit on the low side for a truck of this size. Again, suspension feels a tiny bit funky. I'm not sure what they were thinking. You can tell it's very bouncy. It's almost like there's no oil in there at all. But this should be a simple fix. The shock bodies, they're aluminum. The shock caps are plastic. There's a bleeder screw in the top, or it appears to be a bleeder screw. The adjustment rings are also plastic, very stiff springs, and the perches in the bottom, they're also plastic. Same with the eyelets. Now those eyelets, there's a bit of a concern over there as well, because I have seen people popping these out. So a really simple fix over there is take this screw out. put a washer behind it and secure it back in there. Another thing that's of a bit of concern is these battery straps. Side to side, I'm pretty sure this is going to perform quite well, but the minute you start putting two batteries in here, and this one on the top is not going to be secured anywhere like front to back, that thing is going to float around on hard landings. So I've seen people, my buddy Vasco for example, I will put a link to his unboxing video in the description box. He has a Velcro strap going on from the front to the back just to make sure that that battery is actually going to sit where it's supposed to sit. So that is a good thing. Easy fix, not a big issue. I'm glad to see CEN coming out with a new truck again after a couple of years. And I think especially in terms of how they have styled it, they really stepped up their game. It's a 1450 kV motor. Well, again, waterproof ESC. 6S capable, and apart from that it's pretty much murdered out. The turnbuckles, steering rods, everything looks really stout and yeah, I don't know, it looks like it's going to hold up pretty well. You can tune the toe in or toe out of your setup as well here in the back. Again, really thick rod ends. There's a few aluminum brackets going on between these, well, I'll call them bumper struts, front and back. Bumpers look pretty stout as well. There's a lot of webbing going on, so they really managed to clear out all the weight that you do not need. For now, I guess that sort of covers it. What I don't like, by the way, are these body posts. They're really high. They make the truck look extremely ugly with the body being put on. So you have this almost looks like, you know, when you put your first drift car together and you want to make sure that those body posts, that they're like maximum length so you could fit a wide variety of bodies. It's kind of that thing going on. So I'm going to cut these off. Most likely I'm going to take them off completely, because I also don't really trust this just being supported by a body clip. It being such a big truck, flip it on the lid a few times, these are going to press through. Now you can fix that with a big old washer, or you can actually just completely remove the body posts and use, for example, some Proline posts with the screw cap. I really like those. They manage to secure a body without it being able to rattle in any way. So that's something that I'm going to look at. Yeah. Well, apart from that, I don't have a lot to tell you about this truck. I do have a clear body for it, so we'll be painting up a shell for it as well. Can't wait for the weather to become a tiny bit less shitty and my cold to disappear. You can probably tell that I'm sweating my ass off. I'm really pretty sure that I have a fever going on as well. So the minute all of that clears, I will be taking this thing out and putting it through its paces. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you want to have like a ton of technical information, because I mean, I'm not one to make a half-hour video about the unboxing of a car, but if you want to have a lot of technical information, I'm pretty sure that Vas from Aussie RC Playground can provide you with that. I will put a link to his video in the video description. He got his a week earlier than I got mine, and we're going to do some well, challenges, or yeah, some like across the globe similar testing type of whatever. So we're gonna do some collaborations on this truck, and I'm really looking forward to that. Vas is a very good friend of mine, and we talk a lot, and it's really one of the first times that we actually have the exact same truck at almost the exact same moment. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you are subscribed, maybe you have not pressed that tiny bell yet. I hear everybody talking about and not getting notifications, or needing to turn on that bell for the notifications. So make sure you hit that bell so you do get an email the minute I upload a video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's very much free. And if you want to be ahead of what I'm doing over here, Facebook and Instagram, they're also in the video description. If you have any questions or comments, pretty sure that I skipped a few steps ahead, as I always do. Leave them in the comments box, and I always answer. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Back on.